Being great at sales is essential to your business and your career, but you and I both know that the stress of selling and dealing with constant rejection can be an emotional drain. My entire brand, No BS Selling, is based on the belief that professional sales is a skill and not a personality, and that to be better at sales takes constant refinement and a dedication to your craft. This show is for salespeople and entrepreneurs who are committed to improving their sales skills and getting better results, and are sick and tired of the BS game that often happens between buyers and sellers. Welcome to the No BS Sales Podcast, and I'm your host, Walker McKay. I'll help you and your sales team make selling easier, feel less cheesy, and be more lucrative. It's time to change the rules and level the playing field between you and the people you sell to. You're already good, let's be better. Welcome to the No BS Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. And today I am really excited to have my guest, Christine Schlonski, who is calling in from Berlin, Germany. She is a sales expert, and you need to listen today because she's going to talk to us about winning mindsets in sales. And she has an interesting spin on this, which I thought you guys might appreciate. Her belief is that sales is love. So we're going to talk about sales is love and why that is. Her title is she is the queen of the sales success mindset. So we're welcome the queen, Christine Schlonski, to the No BS Sales Podcast. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you so much, Walker, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I love the title of your show, No BS. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today as well, right?
We're going to talk about being straight up and taking the BS out of sales. That's right. And a lot of that has to do with our mindset, our beliefs. Before we jump into the stuff about beliefs, Christine, give me a quick roundup of how in the world did you become the queen of sales success mindset?
Yeah, that's such a great question, considering that I never, ever wanted to be in sales. So really? I'm not like one of those natural born salespeople who thought, well, oh, how can I sell something? How can I make money? So basically, when I finished my studies, I lived in the south of Germany. And it's a beautiful area, don't get me wrong, Black Forest, maybe you've heard of it.
Yes.
But I thought, oh, you know what? I'm way too young. I want some action. So I wanted to move to a big city. And so I chose Berlin. It's very international. It's a fun place. And then I thought, well, okay, now I got the city, like, where do I work, right? How do I pay my rent? And I figured I wanted to work in a company that's international and that has exciting products and opportunities. So I sent in my CV to a company that I thought was
That's Resume in America, but go ahead, yes.
Oh, it's Resume in America. Okay, well, I sent in my resume, thank you. I always say CV, so
no, you should, it's fine. That's the much more, much more sophisticated way, but a lot of my audience,
Yeah. So I sent them my resume, and then the only job they offered me was in sales. And so when they called me to tell me the good / for me, bad news, I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm calling people, cold calling people, like telling them something about a high-end product, me charging on the phone. Well, that I don't think I can do this.
Yep.
But the person calling me was a sales director, and he was very good in what he did. Yep. So I ended up working for them, learning how to sell over the phone.
What was his pitch to you, Christine?
Well, we were talking, these were like super high-end live events with decision makers, so just C-level.
Yes.
So just talking about the product got me trusting that this was a good product, that I could believe in the product.
Yep.
And, then the career path sounded pretty good. And, let's call it my pain or my desire to really move to the city of my choice was bigger than the fear of cold calling people.
Boom, your why was bigger than your what, right? So absolutely correct. Yes, exactly. Get it.
Yeah. So I ended up at that sales job learning how to cold call people. And I worked really, really hard, like with a D, right? So, and somehow it worked, right? I made deals. And I was surprised that, I was pretty good at this stuff.
Did they give you sales training or just product training?
Well, they also, kind of product / sales training. So the sales director was really, really good.
Yeah.
And, just learning from him how he did things, being able to listen, to see how it's done, really helped. And
Yep.
then the rest was, trial and error. Like if somebody hung
Sure.
up, well, they hung up on you, right?
Right. Have them move on. Right.
Yeah, you got to learn. And then, with whatever challenge you had, you could ask your direct manager, like, oh, this just happened. Like, how do I deal with it? And so it was like ongoing training, learning, trying.
So you
And
found good success, it sounds like. You found success, and then all of a sudden there was some event that happened or some mind shift where you said, I'm going to go do this myself. What happened there?
yeah, well, I wasn't that fast. So what happened was that I think I kind of realized that I was climbing the wrong ladder, and
What does that
that,
mean?
well, it means that I advanced pretty quickly. So within 7 years, I was a sales director,
Wow.
and I was, sent to build teams in different locations. So I was sent to London. I helped the team in Tokyo. I helped our Barcelona team. So I I I I think like with every step I took, it didn't feel as rewarding as I thought it would be feeling. So I realized like something is off. And we all say like I woke up this one day, but it's something that builds up, right?
Right.
But that one day you have the realization you need to make a change.
Yep. It bursts. Yep.
So I started to look for solutions because I figured like if I just change the job, I start from zero again.
Can I stop you for a second? You just
Yeah.
said something really important, and I'm going to make sure the WS sales team heard this. A lot of people are in a job that they're not happy with, and they think to themselves, well, maybe something else will come along, right? Maybe that perfect is going to show up. And what I tell people, and I think it's what you just explained as well, is the first thing that needs to happen is you need to commit to get another job. And once you commit to find another job, then you'll find the right thing. But until you commit to find another job, chances are you're going to be right where you are. So do you
Yeah.
believe that? You agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with it. So I did it a little bit differently because I thought, well, if I just find another job, right, then I'm going to take myself with me.
Right.
So any challenge I have right now might come back in a different setting, right? Like I would say to my sales.
Right there, right? You leave one set of problems and take them with you and take them to the next place, right? You're the problem.
Exactly. So I would say to my salespeople, like the grass isn't greener on the other side, right? Which is true. Like sales is sales. You have to pick up the phone. It doesn't matter where you pick up the phone. If that's a challenge, you will keep that challenge with you. So I went like by accident, so to speak, or coincidence, or however you want to call it. I started my self-development path by figuring out like what is feeling off and what can I change and how can I change it so that I would be on like the true path for me, not just, getting another job and starting from zero
Right.
again,
Yes.
but really figuring out like what is it in me that needs to change.
Have you
And
always been introspective like that? Have you always been that self-aware?
I think that's something that grew. It was just a feeling where I thought, I hate writing resumes. It's
Me
so
too.
annoying.
Yeah.
So that was one piece that kind of held me back. And then I thought, but I have accomplished so much, right? I've given quite a lot of responsibility. I know that my clients love me. They come back. They give me repeat business.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I didn't want to leave all of that on the table.
Yeah.
And going into something where I didn't have an idea what, like not the, starting over, not knowing where to go, learning again and again and again. I love learning. That wasn't it. But something kind of helped me to see or to look within first. So I became a coach actually because I couldn't find a coach in the city that I wanted to work with, but I found a coach training. And then, the self-development piece took over and I was totally fascinated with it. And, then all of a sudden, because I understood better the psychology of people, why people feel how they feel, like, why do you have a why? What's your what? Like all of these moving pieces, I think I already was becoming an even better salesperson. And then the interesting thing is I stumbled over a book And if you don't know the book, I highly recommend you read it. It's called The Go-Giver. And it's
I love The Go-Giver. That's a great book. I'm glad you brought that up. I hadn't thought about that in a while.
It's written by
Tell
Bob
us about
Burg.
that.
Yeah, it's written by Bob Burg and John David Mann. And I read the book, and the book basically gave me permission to be me, right? Before I was very professional, and, we had to show up like in a suit, and, for the ladies, put a blouse and like all the stuff. It's like, yeah, it's just professional. That's how you show up. That's how you do your
professional and guarded, cloaked is the way I like to look at it, right? As a yoga term, is if you're very cloaked. You don't let anybody see.
Yeah. So when I read the book, I realized that by just being me, by opening up and being okay with somebody saying no because they didn't feel aligned with who I was or it didn't resonate, I could be fine with it. So I basically connected my head with my heart. And the book really helped me see that you can come from that place of service, of love, of appreciation, of gratitude, and you will be so much more successful because you can let go of the scarcity, right? There are not enough deals. There are not enough clients.
Perfect lead in, because this caught my eye on your website, where your big thing is sales is love. And I know that's going to blow a lot of people away. Explain that. Take The Go-Giver and explain to me where you come from, that sales is love.
Yeah. So I believe that we all have a gift to share. So especially when you are an entrepreneur and you have created a service maybe or product yourself, or if you are a salesperson and you truly believe that you have a really cool product that supports people, sharing that love, right? Sharing that excitement, that wonderful service or product, it's giving love. Right? It's serving people. It's making their lives better. It's making their pain go away. Mm-hmm. And that's oftentimes where people get hung up because they don't see it. They just see sales like as a transaction. Mm-hmm. But usually what we do is we transform people's lives. Just giving you one example. Like if I would be working with someone and they double, triple, whatever, quadruple their sales, or they ask for the very first time for a high ticket sale, right? Because they have created the right product, they have backed it up with the value that it needs that exceeds the amount they're asking, but they stop undercharging, right? Now they go out and they get their first client. That's a wow experience.
Yes, it is.
Not just for them, right? We all remember that first deal, right? I would say everybody remembers like their first deal because it's so exciting. Somebody said yes to us, to our products, especially when you're an entrepreneur. So that's just one piece of the equation. What you most of the time don't pay attention to, what happens next? Mm-hmm. Because you were able to ask for more money, you have more money in your bank account. Mm-hmm. Now you can do something for your company. You can do something for your family. Maybe you can, do a vacation you wanted to do and spend quality time with those people that are really valuable to you.
Let me ask you a question. Because I'm in my head, I'm sitting here thinking, all right, sales is love. You're solving people's problems. You absolutely believe in your product. You can transform people's lives. How can we stop from chasing people that are never going to buy, wasting our time with people that just want free information, or somebody who's only trying to buy cheap? How do we match sales is love on a give of myself with but understand it's often not seen as a fair trade? How do we do that?
Well, thank you for such an awesome question. So what you do, first you need to understand your own value, right? You need to be really, really clear. What kind of transformation are you giving, right? So look at what is your client getting? And it's not just them, there are deeper layers, like the people that are connected to your client. What are they getting out? Because now your client wins on a different level, right? Really look through that. And I think when you're really, really clear of who you want to work with, how you communicate your value to the world, mm-hmm. Those people that come for just free stuff or, wasting your time, they kind of will disappear.
So you're talking about selling an intangible, right? Like coaching or something like that. Do you work with people that sell products as well?
I do work with some multi-level marketers.
But what about like if some of my people would sell stuff like building supplies, roofing, you know, they're going to sell big machinery.
Right. It's the same.
Yeah, this translates to that.
Yeah. So you know, you have the product that does something. So what does your product do?
Right.
So like, let's stay with roofing.
Yes.
Like when you help somebody build a roof or you just supply the material,
Yeah.
what does it do? Well, on the surface, you think, well, they have a new roof and their house looks nice. Well, great.
Yes.
Well, what else does it do?
Protects their family, right? Can increase the value of their home. It can make them feel more secure. They can stay in their house longer.
Yeah. See,
Right.
like, and if you keep adding that up, like what else does it do? What happens to a person who feels safe and secure in their own home? Will they maybe show up with a different confidence level? Will they maybe worry less about things in their life that are a challenge because they know that place is taken care of? They are safe in their home.
So when you go on it, let's pretend, I'm going to take you here for a minute. Let's pretend you are selling a roof, right? Which is a lot of people go get 3 prices, right?
Yeah.
How do you, are you telling people why this is so important? Are you asking to figure out what would be important to them? And then how are you doing that?
Well, I think it's a combination, right? So whatever we sell, it's especially, you know, a roof is not like a cheap product. You're going to buy it every day.
And again, I kind of gave you one that, you know, people,
yeah, that's fine.
Commodity, but it's typically can be expensive or a big cost for someone.
Yeah. So I would say it's an investment, right? You invest in your home and you invest in your family and your safety. So by having, and those at this price point, you will have a conversation, right? It's not like somebody's buying a piece
Give me
of
one.
soap, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really, so you have a conversation. And I think people from that conversation, they really feel if you care or if it's just a transaction for you to make money.
Right.
So by asking the right questions, by really making sure they get what they need. And sometimes people need more questions to get clarity around that.
Hey, stop for a second too, if you don't mind, because this is something I had an old boss that I never respected, and he burned my ass because he used to always tell me, "You just got to ask the right questions. You just got to ask the right questions." And I said, "What are the damn right questions?" And he never could answer that. So, and I teach people some of those now, but I'm curious now, what are some of the right questions that you might want to ask somebody?
Well, you just need to understand the situation. Like, why does it need to be done right now? I mean, obviously, if a hurricane has gone through, it's pretty obvious.
Right.
But, you know, if somebody comes to, why are they coming? What is their pain?
Yes.
And what's under that pain? Right? We all, I said earlier, I wanted to move to Berlin. That's why I took the sales job.
Right.
I didn't take the sales job because I was excited about the sales job. No, I wanted to get rid of my pain to live on the countryside,
Yes.
which I thought I was way too young for. And I wanted to have all the opportunities a big city offers.
Right.
And so my pain got me over that fear of picking up the phone.
Yep. And so do you think, because one of the things that I believe that salespeople really struggle with is how do we differentiate ourselves, right? Because every salesperson says, we got the best product, we got the best service, we got the best quality.
Boring.
Everybody says that, and most people, and the buyers all hear the same thing. And they say, and everybody's got brochures, right? That are as I call it, multicolored, multicultured stock photo brochures that say we got the best service, best people, best quality. And buyers don't know how to freaking buy.
Well, stop saying what everybody else is saying.
Right. So how do you tell people to differentiate themselves? How do you show people how to do that?
Well, we look at the person, like what makes a person special. Like and I probably didn't mean it how I just said it. So every one of you is special.
Yes.
Like from the get-go, right? There is just this one Walker.
Yes, thank God,
There's
right?
just this one Christine. There's just this one you who's listening. And you are so special because all the circumstances you grew up in, everything around you, your education, whatever you did, it makes you special. There is no other person that has walked the same path, period. Mm-hmm. So first of all, it's like owning your own awesomeness. But
Talk
not
more
in
about that.
Yeah, not in an arrogant way, like, you know, I'm the best and I'm the whatever, blah, blah, that people don't buy into that.
Nope.
Make it about them. So when you understand what you deliver, why your roof is better than someone else's, don't tell people yours is the best, because why should they believe you? You need to show them. And, by showing them, like, ask your clients after you are done with them, why did they purchase from you? They had other offers, right? There's probably nobody out there who just gets one offer to replace their roof. They probably have 3, 4, 5, whatever. Yeah. So ask people why they buy from you, so you understand what makes you special. Yeah. Because you probably don't see it, right? You look out of your eyes.
Yeah, we're stuck in the marketing thing where we believe what the freaking marketing people said, because we've got better R value or some bullshit like that, right? Instead of there's a personal, emotional, compelling reason why somebody chose you over something else.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you need to figure out if you haven't already, right? And that's what you put in your marketing, right? Yeah. This person said this, and we do it in a slightly different way because, and then you bring that argument that supports what you're saying, but you stop saying, well, I'm the best, I'm the, I don't know, nicest guy in the neighborhood.
I don't ever want to be the nicest guy in the neighborhood. That sounds terrible. Of course, I wouldn't, nobody would accuse me of that anyway. So.
Well, whatever your argument might be, like, that's how you differentiate. You don't go with the crowd. Like, if everybody says that, then stop saying it.
Right.
Like, about the customer, like, we always tune into what's in it for me. So when I talk to people, they want to know what's in it for them. They don't care that I've made 80,000 cold calls and that I've closed deals
or that this sale matters for you to end the quarter, or that you've got 50 other calls to make that day. It doesn't matter then.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to them. Not at all. So what makes it special for the person? Why should they even be listening to you? And when you look at it from the value point of time, and the more money people have, the more they value time, right? And the less they have, usually they have more time.
Right.
So if you start valuing other people's time, no matter where you think they are in the game, and you just be really mindful of their time, and you give them what they need, not what you think they need, but what they say they need by asking the right questions. That makes you different from everybody else, because you have the ability to listen, and people love to be heard.
They do, and understood. Christine, can I share some things that I've learned from you today that have been very helpful? Yes. I tell you, I love the way that you said we got to make all of our conversations about them. Sales has absolutely nothing to do with us, right? We bring ourselves to the thing. We bring ourselves to the meeting. We bring ourselves to every engagement. But the reality is we bring our best selves there to seek to understand them, I think is what you said, right? And when you realize that sales is love, and love is also respect, right? And you're respecting somebody else's time and respecting why they're there and why they might or might not want to buy from you. And I think you said that very beautifully, the way you brought that together. Christine, you're a fascinating person. You got a lot of good stuff. You got books, you've got all kinds of things, you got podcasts. How would somebody find you if they wanted to find you and need to talk to you or find out more about you?
Well, they can always just type in my name, Christine.
Which, by the way, will be in the show notes. We'll have a link to your website, and I can have your name there because it's SCHLONSKI. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Schlonski, yes.
ChristineSchlonski.com. And then, anything where you put in like heart sells, right? Because I do believe that you sell much more when you tune in to who you are and you follow your heart and you serve the right people. So it's Heart Sales Academy, Heart Sales Podcast, and then all the profiles are under my name. Besides Twitter, I couldn't get it on Twitter. That's New Sales Mindset.
New Sales Mindset. Okay, great, Christine. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
WS Sales Team, I hope you have enjoyed hearing from Christine today. We've had a great conversation. She's a neat person, very smart, always learning. I've talked to her several times. She's impressed me a bunch. So do look up for her stuff. What I would suggest, guys, if you have not checked on the 7 Sales Mistakes free video series, that's www.7salesmistakes.com. How about do so? I think there's a lot of stuff there you can learn. Also, I just learned the new word is smash. Smash the subscribe button to subscribe to this podcast. If you know somebody else who needs to hear this message, needs to hear from Christine, or needs to hear what we talked about today, share this with them. Let people know. Don't keep this a secret. Christine, thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much for having me and sharing me with your beautiful audience.
Thank you, my dear.